Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about Critical Role. We're going to talk about Call to Netherdeep. We're going to talk about Ank Harel. Ank Harel is the main city. It's actually one of the main cities in the Call to Netherdeep Dungeons and Dragons Critical Role official official traditional hardback Dungeons and Dragons book that just came out. It's the most recent book, right? All right. There's a problem with Ank Harel, and that problem comes from the deficiencies of its Critical Role creators. Let's talk about it. All right. There's a major problem with Ank Harel, and I'm trying to get to it so that you guys know the point of my video right away, right? It's hard to get there, but here's the issue. It is my opinion that Critical Role did not feel they had actual permission to write about the city they created, Ank Harel. They feel like they're wearing handcuffs when they're writing, and that they can't actually write about the city they chose to set this book in, right? Which is an incredibly strange, weird problem to have, but it is quite real as a problem. No two ways about it. Quite real as a problem. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. So how do we get there? Oh yeah. Okay. So basically, by the way, spoilers for Call to Netherdeep. Okay. So your player characters in the first, I think it's the first chapter. It's the first city they encounter. They go to Jigao. G-I-J-I-G-O-W. Jigao. Jigao is a monster city, okay? It's not a village, and it's not, and it's not a town. It's a city, okay? And it's a monster city. In Jigao, you can get mastodon stew, right? Because most of the denizens are goblins and drow and tiefling, right? All the traditional Lord of the Rings races need not apply, right? Human, dwarf, elf, they are all outsiders in Jigao. Jigao, they are there, right? But this isn't their city, and this isn't their culture. Their culture doesn't dominate here. The Tolkien in Exandria, the Critical Role world, the Tolkien races, they hold court, quite literally, quite figuratively. They hold court in specifically in Dwendalia. Okay, so here in Jigao, you got this is like a monster city. All right, so let's talk about Jigao. Critical Role felt fully. They felt you could feel it in the book, in my humble opinion. They felt like they had permission to write about this city. Okay, all right. So, and it's fully rendered and it's beautiful. Okay, and let's talk about it. Where is Jigao? Okay, Exandria is the world of Critical Role. It's literally set in the book. Okay, then Wildemount. Wildemount has a book about it in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Okay, Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. Xhorhas, and then on the continent of Wildemount is Xhorhas, which is a region of Wildemount. Xhorhas is the Kryn dynasty. It is the and basically has a drow queen, okay, who worships the Luxon, which is essentially a magic D20. And it's fully rendered, and Jigao is right there in Xhorhas. Okay, now let's talk about Ank Harel. Where is Ank Harel? It's in Exandria, okay? And then the continent is Marquette, okay? And it's in Marquette, all right? So, so basically, Exandria is in Marquette, and that's the continent's on. What region is Ank Harel in? I don't know. I own the book. I looked for Ank Harel on the map. That is in the book. You will not find it anywhere in the book. All right? So basically, when you look at Ank Harel, you know that Ank Harel is Ank Harel is in Exandria. You know it's in Marquette, right? But You don't know what region it's in, okay? That's the issue. You do not know what region it's in, right? And get this, I don't think that Critical Role knows what region it is. Now, they might have it sitting on some wiki, somewhere, but not in the 5th edition book. It's not checked into the record of 5th edition. And if you look for Ank Harel, a city where, like, literally 30 to 70 pages of content in the book take place, you can't find it on the map, and you don't know what region it's in, right? And that fact, okay, and I looked all over. If anybody else can find it and you want to correct me and say, oh, it's in the book, you missed it, please do, but I don't think you're going to find it, right? Basically, that fact that it is not shown on a map in the book, Ank Harel, right, and its region is never listed, is not just a coincidence. It is a powerful fact, right? And it's an allegory for it. It's an analogy for the lack of permission Critical Role felt to write in this city. So they created a city, and it feels very sketchy. Like, it feels like sketched. There's no color, there's no painting, there's no shading, there's no depth to Ank Harel, right? Because it doesn't feel like a city that Critical Role felt they had permission to write in. They literally don't know where it is on the map, and when you read it, Ank Harel is hollow, and it doesn't resonate, and it doesn't make sense in the story, right? So now here's the message, right? When you create a world for your Dungeons and Dragons game, you better have permission to actually know. You better know where it is, right? Don't write 70 pages of content for a city you literally don't know where it exists, right? Or that you don't feel you have permission to show people where it exists, right? You need to be fully permissioned and provisioned on your own to literally write in the cities that you make. This is a major problem in Call to Netherdeep. I love Call to Netherdeep. It's a fantastic book. But this is a problem, right? I definitely feel like Critical Role did not feel they had their own permission. They did not feel they had permission to write in the world they created. That is strange. That is very strange. And I think you should make sure you don't get in the same problem in the world you create. That's my opinion. Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.